Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy while I do it. Yes, I know this is the third one of these in a row. All right, guys. I saw a comment under a video of saying, look, you can't just say adding protein to a diet doesn't store fat. The calories have to be accounted for, calories in, calories out. If a person's maintenance is this, then adding this doesn't, it's just surplus calories. And this is where people don't understand calories in, calories out. We need to be very clear on this. Look at all the metabolic ward studies, okay? When we are talking about your maintenance calories are determined by your current composition of your diet, your activity, NEAT, everything else, okay? And in other words, the same person, the calories that you burn could literally be 1,000 calories difference day to day, just based upon what changes you make in your diet and lifestyle that week. Okay, so we need to be clear on that. And this is where people misunderstand the model. It doesn't violate calories in, calories out. When we say things like certain foods do not get stored as fat even when eaten in very large amounts. Okay, and again, this gets very, very nuanced. Very nuanced. When we start looking at things like absorption, thermic effect, all of these things, a lot of foods that you consume will simply be burned off. Okay, and what I mean is, if you add large amounts of carbohydrate to your diet, like this has been done in the metabolic ward, to where they take in a group of women or whatever, and they have them at whatever their maintenance is, and they add 1,000 calories of carbohydrate. A lot of people would say, oh, well, the fat storage would probably go up there, they would be gaining fat rapidly in those first day or two, but they don't. Okay, even the excess 1,000 calories of carbohydrates does not convert through de novo lipogenesis more than about like a gram of fat. People say, well, that violates calories in, calories out. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Because their calories out went up. Okay? Carbohydrates have a significant thermic effect. Now, protein is higher, but they have a significant thermic effect. And so your body does not store these things. It stores the fat that you eat. Now, if you're eating enough fat for those massive amount of carb intake to store a similar amount, yes, you're going to store body fat dramatically. Okay, so when we say excess calories, the excess calories mean the excess fat calories, because the other stuff gets utilized and burned off, and particularly protein. So what I mean is your calories out could go up. So adding, say, instantly, like let's say you're eating whatever your maintenance is right now, and you add 1,000 calories of carbohydrate right now for the next couple days, and let's say your maintenance was 3,000 calories, and you've been eating 3,000, and you add to whatever you've been eating 1,000 calories of carbohydrate, particularly like a starchier carb or something even more fibrous with a higher thermic effect. Your maintenance is not going to stay 3,000. Your maintenance could shoot up to 3,500, 3,600, or your TDEE or more. We didn't violate calories in, calories out. We increased our calories out. All right, your thermic effect will go up. Your NEAT will go up. Okay. In fact, adding that 1,000 calories could literally raise your energy turnover by 800. Now, are we still in a surplus? Are we still going to gain a small amount of body fat? Yes. Okay. Yes. But the fat on your body is still only coming from the fat you eat. Again, when these other things go up, then your capacity to store it goes up. But it doesn't scale, meaning the same food intake, like people would be shocked. Like you right now, day to day, your energy turnover, TDEE, could be anywhere from 2,500 up to 4,000, just depending upon what you ate that day and the effect it had. And those are very extreme cases. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you ate really high fat, low thermic effect food, low fiber. Your maintenance might only be 2,500 that day. Now, the reason some people lose weight on those diets is they're appetite craters. When we start adding protein, yeah, the protein overfeeding studies don't cause fat at all. And that's been looked at. In fact, my friend Alex Leaf was involved in a study on that. Talked about that with the protein overfeeding, to where they took people and they had them at maintenance, right? They had them say, okay, they've been taking a food log, put them in the metabolic ward, have them, they're tracking the food, right? Researchers are tracking their food. They have them right at their maintenance macros, and they just added like 200 plus grams of carbohydrate. Of protein. What happened? People would say, oh, that's like an extra 800 calories. They gained body fat. They didn't. They lost body fat. Because the thermic effect of that and the nutrient partitioning is so high, their energy turnover went up. And the people recompositioned. In protein overfeeding studies, people do not gain body fat. They tend to lose body fat. But again, we're talking about people eating 350, 400 grams of proteins. These were people on already high protein diets. They're like, we're just going to throw another 200, 250 grams at you on top of what they're already eating, of just straight lean protein added in. And of course, there's some recomposition. It's actually kind of an interesting phenomenon. Problem is, it's not practical for most people, right? The practicality of trying to do that, price-wise, appetite-wise, because in fact, what ends up happening when people try to force-feed that, they end up struggling to even reach maintenance calories a lot of times. Trying to eat 400 grams of lean protein a day. Again, not only the financial cost, particularly in today's economy, but the satiety side, yeah, a lot of people will just start losing weight. It would be pretty normal. So people need to understand that in this context, and it's the same thing with upper limits of your GI tract. You get people like, how are these people, some of these higher turnover athletes eating all this huge amount of carbohydrate and everything else, and then they're losing fat. And it's because there are also upper thresholds to how much you can even absorb. So when we're dealing with these high thermic effects, we're dealing with GI tract absorption. Okay, people would be shocked of how hard it is to gain body fat for people in certain environments. Particularly when fat goes down and we eat all these very high thermic effect foods, you start adding extra fiber. Okay, there's a limit to what your gut will absorb in a day, and it's not like 10,000 calories. So people are like, oh yeah, this person's eating 8,000. You will not absorb 8,000 calories in a day. It is not going to happen. You will excrete it out, and it doesn't violate calories in, calories out, because the calories are going out. They're just going out the other side, okay, right into the toilet. Thousands of calories at that point. I promise you that if you're eating 8,000 calories a day, you're excreting over 3,000 that you're not even absorbing at all. Okay. Now the composition of that diet matters. It's a little different if it's pure glucose or pure sugar versus real foods, right? That makes a difference there. But so that's why it can vary a lot. That's why there may be some cases where a person could absorb 5,000. But if you think you're going to do that on chicken and brown rice and vegetables, you will not absorb 5,000 calories. Okay, it's not going to happen. So, but then we also deal with the thermic effect side of it as well, and the extra need, the extra fidgeting, energy turnover. So it doesn't violate it, but people do need to be aware of this, right? When we're talking about this in this context. So they're thinking that, hey, this is my maintenance calories, and whatever I eat is still going to hit that same energy output, and that's just simply not true. Even different types of carbohydrate will literally have a different effect on the energy burned, depending upon how hard they are to break down, the fiber content, all of that stuff. Right? The same in different proteins and different fats. Okay, because even different fat types cause more or less fat oxidation. Composition of your diet matters. In other words, that's what I'm saying. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.